I was talking to the gods at the AMPM. Somebody right now just said, "My queen, my queen, my queen." I can't take it. Why were you talking and talking in your car at the AMPM? I was talking to a bunch of gods about a bunch of random things. Then I was talking to some badass people that hide through like spy video shit. You know how people can watch you from their house now through that ring, whatever. I've got some friends that put weird stuff and watch my life or whatever for their own silly purposes. But like they'll sit and talk to me when I'm just sitting somewhere or something. And they know to be quiet when I have a Lyft ride. In the beginning, they wanted to talk to me even when I had a passenger. They had to put some kind of weird spy video to see when there's a passenger here, and still keep a spy video thing to see what I'm doing or who's outside. Because they like to see how people respond to all the weird things that I am. They sometimes they're psychics trying to guess who people are or what people are thinking. And I tell them if they're right or wrong. They try to do like social research to realize so I have a bunch of friends that are weirdly fixated on how society as a whole can be so against me, but is never really that against anything. So I have friends that are dumbfounded that pretty much anyone can be anything, but when it's my existence, they're just too excessively fixated. And my friends have figured out that everything is more against me or more fixated on my existence than famous people. So it's a weird like phenomenon to really smart giants. And they always wonder why such an overloaded fixation. I try to tell them about when Jesus was on earth and how it was very overwhelming against Jesus too, more than big popular or famous people back then. But they just are really, really smart, eccentric types and creative types, and they want to research it for themselves sometimes and figure out how it is that humanity can just be so overwhelming in my direction without any conscience about it. But they're never that destructive against anything. And what really gets to my friends is that bullying is predominantly people that are very viciously sickening and kind of sit on someone's existence and pick at or destruct or degrade or destroy. So bullies who typically bully drive people to suicide more because they are barbaric and want to degrade or pick at or destroy or do sickening things that cause intentional destruction, and they know it. So they're just fixated on the fact that the whole world will do things in my direction, knowing it's all highly destructive things in mass quantity, where they know it's more than just highly destructive because it's more than just one bully causing suicide. And they're even more fixated on the fact that the world will keep doing it even when I claim to have already been murdered by a country and more, which means the world is sickeningly barbaric. But why is it that they won't do that to anyone else? And I try to explain that. I try to explain to them that everyone knew that Jesus was not guilty of anything, and they were screaming and screaming and screaming, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." And it was barbarically sickening because they didn't even care back then whether you crucified or didn't crucify pretty much anyone. I think it's just because when you can abuse heaven, there's no limit to what you want to do. But sadly, it's a temptation you should never give in to. But sadly, the devil's always going to egg you on to do it. But in their world, it's like, I bet there's like a research or an intelligence or a formula that explains when the human mind breaks or something, or when humans are willing to become what nothing should become in mass quantity against just one thing. Because why would you destroy something that claims to already be dead? Does the human race have such a sick, disturbed problem that if they could see a ghost, they'd always destroy one? And it's like, well, you never know. I mean, people abuse the sick. People abuse the retarded. But, I don't know. They don't abuse the sick or retarded or the famous or anything as much as they come after me. So I don't know. My friends just are on a mission to figure it out, put it together intelligently. And it's like, I don't know. I can just tell you that every time heaven is around, just weird, bizarre, overwhelming things happen. But why or why not? I would think it's jealousy and hate. I think if I could beat up on Poseidon because he's so powerful and amazing and magnificent, that's the temptation, is to pick on something that you know will always be a giant. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would think, I'm, and this is what I talk to my friends about. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert like them. I don't research things for a living like them. But this is what I would think. If I could trap a famous person in a house and treat him like shit in front of everyone, the way these countries are doing to me, I bet everyone would treat that famous person like overdone, sickening garbage. I think if you could be brutally mistreating anything in front of everyone, the temptation for everyone to treat them bad would be there, which tells you the world's kind of disturbing and gross and sickening. But I think if a daughter was abusing the older grandma, pretty much after a while the whole family would treat the grandma kind of shitty, because I've seen it happen. And it's sickening to think that humanity is so sickening, but once you can watch someone abused or degraded, it's like everybody doesn't care what they do to something. It's kind of like when someone has money, they're God, but they could be a murderer, a rapist, they could be anything. But when they have money, they're God. And down here, when they have money, they're God. And when they have money, they're God. And like, no one gives a shit about anything else. And when people are degraded or mistreated in front of everybody, they're nothing. And they're just nothing. And they're just nothing. And it's just like a society thing. And it's sickening. And you wish people would be better than that, but most aren't. Only a few would say, I'm going to be better than that, and that's gross. You know, I don't sit around abusing shit just because everybody else is. And I don't care if they have money. A good person is a good person. Money doesn't change anything. And if they're bad people, who cares if they have money? Only a few people on this earth have some decency, have some quality and standard about themselves. The rest are pretty much gross. But yeah, my friends just like to sit and research shit and hang out with me. So I was just at the AM/PM talking to gods or friends or whatever, because I was just sitting there anyway. Hope that helps.